Yeah.
Make quite a nice shot if you had some light.
I think it would, yeah, but it's just not right at the minute. Perhaps a bit more wide angle. I didn't do the light over there really for the sun to be on it.
Yeah.
Mike.
What?
That's a ship.
Azura!
I'll race you. That's the shot.
Go away, Scorey, these are my groins. I spotted them. Right, tripod, come on.
Oh, yes, lovely light we've got at the minute, Mike.
It's good.
Oh, yes.
It's good.
I'm shooting. Oh, look at that.
No, you're not.
Yes.
You're winding me up.
Beautiful light. Oh, quick.
You're winding me up. You're a git.
Dear.
Do you know that? You're a git. A well-known hand motion comes to mind when I think of him. Right, I'm getting on with it.
I'll leave him setting up. But this is what the NX10 is all about, you see. Now, obviously, we're just having a bit of a laugh and a joke here. It's beautiful sunlight. You wouldn't really need a tripod to shoot this absolutely fantastic ship as it goes by. NX10, but see, it's all about speed and having fun and just grabbing the moment. This is a great little camera. Now, the Samsung NX10's been around for a little while now. Bit of a revelation when it came out, because it is one of the only cameras in this what's so-called evil category, and that's electronic viewfinder interchangeable lens. So obviously the lens actually comes off, but it's the only one that really looks like a proper DSLR, and it handles like a DSLR. It's just shrunk, really, but it's feature packed. It really is a very, very good little camera looking at the spec list. Now, one thing that's particularly good about it, apart from its size, it does actually have an APS-C sensor and 14.6 megapixels. So in terms of its size, it really does punch above its weight in megapixels. And there's more to it than just lots of megapixels. Image quality is very, very good. I've been using one of these now for about 4 or 5 months. I've been incredibly impressed with the quality of the images you can get from it, including high ISO. It's really impressive camera and processor and kind of whole combo. Now, on the camera at the minute, I've got their 30mm f1.2 prime lens, which is a superb optic, and I think really suits the camera itself. But here I've got with me is the kind of the standard kit lens, if I just swap that over, which is the 18-55. Now, as you'd expect, fully featured lens, but it's the same on the same sort of scale as the camera itself. So very, very small. Optical image stabiliser, and of course autofocus, manual focus, but it handles really well. Now, I suppose the one thing that might put people off is the fact that you've got an electronic viewfinder instead of an optical one, but I think once you get past that, and it does take a little bit of getting used to, you've got the option of using the LCD anyway. So yeah, it handles much like a DSLR, it shoots like a DSLR, the image quality is just like a DSLR. In terms of the menu itself, it's typical Samsung. It's clean, it's tight, it's easy to navigate. It's a really fun little camera to use. And certainly from my point of view, much like the Olympus Pen did, that kind of really started this revelation, and then later with the Panasonic GF1, or the Jeffrey as I call it, or it's been the phrase has been coined, it kind of makes you think differently about your photography. You kind of put aside your filters and your tripod and all the kind of faffing, if I can call it that, associated with proper landscape photography. And this is about kind of jumping out of the car, as you perhaps saw in our fun intro into the piece, jumping out of the car, spotting your scene, grabbing a few shots. So it's a bit like, in a sense, it really is that kind of halfway between compact and DSLR. This is a very feature-rich little camera. Of course, you can use it in complete manual mode, but you've got the standard program, aperture, shutter priority, and of course manual too. But there are various other, on the dial here, we've got night modes and various different scene modes, and even a smart mode, which allows you, essentially it's like the green mode, but it recognises, the camera recognises the scene and kind of applies the appropriate exposure, whether that would be a landscape and apply depth of field, you know, with a small aperture, etc., etc. In back of the camera itself, if you click on the functions, you can actually scroll through, and it's got built-in HD movie, and you can adjust all the settings on a very graphic menu display. It comes up in almost pictorial form, and it's very simple to operate and scroll through. You can change image quality, but you can also, with your pictures, you can do some basic image editing too. Things like red eye fixing, we've got backlighting, and we've got their photo style selector, which essentially you just run through and make a change to your picture. Very clever little system, kind of standard a lot of cameras these days. but it just adds an extra dimension to what the NX10 can actually offer. I myself like the burst mode, which actually fires, I think it's 30 frames in one go, which is quite an impressive little feature on the camera itself. So I'll just whack it into aperture priority mode, hit the button, and just listen to this. Now you might not have been able to hear that, it was actually very, very quiet, and that was my point. And the camera's just processing now, and it's something like 30 frames of that it took. Almost works like a video camera in the sense that it fires the shutter very, very quickly. So all in all, it's got a built-in flash. You can use it like a DSLR, and the beautiful thing is it doesn't actually cost like a mid-range DSLR would actually cost. I mean, based on the spec that it's got. You're looking at between £400 and £500, depending on whether you buy it at a store or whether you're buying it online. And I think for the value for the money, the image quality that you can actually achieve from it, they're very bright, vibrant, colourful images you get from it, because you can use it like a proper DSLR. And certainly in the recent test we did in Digital SLR User magazine, where we tested it against the Pen 2, we tested it against the Sony NX5, and we tested it against the GF1, the NX10 actually came out on top. And I gave it an Editor's Choice Award, highly recommended, a great little camera, and represents excellent value for money. Now I think the key thing here is this camera could attract a lot of people who don't really consider themselves photographers into digital photography, because it's the perception that you can be more creative with this, and yet it feels and works like a DSLR, so you can take more control of the creative side of things. So all in all, I really do think this is an impressive camera, and yeah, highly recommended bit of kit.